Today, I want to show you how to feed the snails, and I'll also show you what to feed the snails and what not to feed the snails. So if you see here, these are vegetables. This is kumawiki, this is some cabbage. So snails, they eat plants, they eat vegetables, they eat fruits. So those are the things that we feed our snails. So if you have a smaller snail farm like this one, you can go and get these like vegetables, these fruits from the market, or if you have some at your farm, you can still go ahead and use them to feed your snails. So like these are just vegetables extracted from our farm, and this is a regular maintenance we have to do for your snails. Just like human beings, the snails have to eat, which means as a farmer you have to feed them. So that is what we are doing today. So the first thing is, once you have your vegetables or whatever, we normally have this kind of doors, and it's fully enclosed without any gaps to ensure that the snails doesn't leave your pen. So that is why you see there are some extra nets, because when we're doing, you could see there are some gaps in the pen. So that is why we now cover it with the net. So the first thing you have to do is you have to remove the waste or the food that you gave to the snails before giving them another batch of food. So that is exactly what we are going to do. Like now, and this pen you can get inside here. So like now I'm going to remove these ones. This is just one way of ensuring hygiene at your snail farm, so that whenever you're giving them fresh food, you're giving them fresh food in a very clean pen. So that is why you have to, every time before you feed them, you have to remove this, and then put them somewhere. So these ones we are removing them, and then that is when we can now feed them the fresh food. So we just spread it to them in the pen, just like that. And then sometimes what you have to do is you have to mist the pen, because the snails love very low temperatures and misted area. So you have to sometimes mist, like this one is already mist. The other thing is, while feeding your snails, you have to be very careful. I told you the snails sometimes burrow in the soil. So if you are getting it to your pen, you don't just step anywhere, because you might be stepping on some snails which are already burrowing in the soil. That is why you realize I just stand at the entrance of the pen, and then I'm able now to take the feeds we gave them before, and then feed them the fresh one. So you have to be very careful of that, unless you'll be killing most of the snails, and that will not be good for you as a farmer. So it's just that simple. That's how you feed them. And then what not to feed your snails. So you look at this snails, like this one now. This one has been eating, yeah. So this snails has this sensitive part of the skin. So here there are some food that if you feed them, like things that have salt, things that are citrus, like lemon, lime, things that are soup, those ones are not very good for feeding. But things that doesn't have soup, doesn't have salt, doesn't have lime, things that are not that acidic are just good enough for the snails to eat. So you see, like this one, I took it while it was eating, so it's wondering where the food has gone to. So that is how simple you feed your snails. Stay tuned.